Aloha. The following video is a recording of a live gathering I recently held for members of my email news list. Enjoy. Aloha, everyone. It is great to be here with you. Welcome and thank you for joining me for this very special online gathering today. Our theme is Let the Path Find You. We've still got some folks joining us here today. Bobby from New Mexico, Angela from Texas, Gloria from California. Welcome, everyone. Well, you've probably noticed that something has shifted recently. Now, and you may have felt it at the beginning of the year, or you may have actually felt something shift from last month until now. And many people I've been in contact with have reported feeling unsettled, unfocused, kind of that in-between feeling. Now, if this is true for you, give me a descriptive word in the chat. How have you felt? If this resonates with you, how have you felt recently? And I'm saying just in the last few weeks. If there's anything that you feel is just like, not quite moving, things are not flowing the way that in your heart you would really like them to flow, just give me a couple words in the chat. Displaced, I can identify with that. Unsettling, Julie says. Lethargic, yep. Bobby's had an amplified awakening. Excellent. Joan says it's like swimming in syrup. Wow, what a visual. I can actually feel that in my body. Robin says depleted. Lorena says feeling starting a new life. Judy, unfocused. Marianne, this is something that several people I've been talking with the last couple of weeks feel the same way. Everything is loose. You're not able to decide. Yeah, that indecisive feeling. Uncentered, lacking somehow, curious. Married, feeling transitional, something finished, something not quite birthing yet. Yeah. And thank you very much for sharing here. This is not universal. Not all of us are feeling those kind of unsettled, unfocused, unclear feelings, but it is really common. Another I guess, report I've been getting from people is that feeling heavy or lethargic. Jean mentioned that in the chat. Over the last 2 weeks especially, my wife and I have experienced this several times. Suddenly, one or both of us at the same time will feel heavy and just useless. And all we can do is just stop working because we can't focus. Our eyelids are heavy and all we can do is take a nap. And I know nothing's wrong, but the fact that it's happened several times and sometimes happens the two of us simultaneously, there's something going on. So if you've been experiencing this, give me a yes in the chat. I just want to see how many people here have felt that kind of heavy, lethargic, I just can't focus feeling. Ryan, Angela, Joan, Lorena, Susan, Philomena, Terry, definitely. Judy, Julie, Bobby, yes. Well, thank you for being honest. And I just want to let you know that you're not alone. You're not alone. Thanks, Gloria. She says, hasn't been feeling like has not been feeling that way, but happy to be the exception. Good for you. What many of us have been feeling is not that surprising when you take a step back and understand kind of what's going on. In truth, nothing is wrong. Individually and collectively, we're experiencing the symptoms of a huge transition. So here's what we're going to talk about today. In our journey. Got ahead of myself here. Here's what we're going to talk about today. This is our journey today. I'll give you an overview of what has been shifting and what's happening energetically. I'll share some channeled guidance I received about how to work consciously with the new energies that are now available to us. Plus, I'll offer you just a brief guided experience so you can feel into these energies directly. I'll also introduce you to a way that you can go deeper into the process. And if we have time, and I'm hoping that we do, I'll be happy to answer some questions. Now, for those of you who are joining me for the first time, welcome. I just want to let you know that I'm a Lemurian wisdom teacher, channeler, and a co-founder of Lemurian Healing, along with my wife, Mamiko Maridiana. And I've been doing this kind of work for, it's about 25 years now. So, what's been going on energetically? Well, my guides have been very clear about this in a tangible way, in a very tangible way. The planet has shifted. And my guides, the guardians, have been clear about this, that a higher stream of energy is now flowing through the earth plane. What does this mean? Well, it means that new higher frequencies of thought are now available to us. But not just that, there are new levels of awareness, new insights, new possibilities, even new realities are all more accessible now. And this higher stream is actually a composite of many streams. There's a stream of clarity. There's a stream of love. There's one for trust, abundance, joy, confidence. Basically, if you can name it, there's probably a higher frequency stream available to you right now. However, with the advent of this higher stream, the gap between old and new is widening. And here's one of the key messages I really want to share with you today. And that any discomfort that you're feeling is the friction between who you were and who you are becoming. And this discomfort is just a symptom of the energetic shift taking place. It's simply friction between old patterns and these new higher frequencies. The stream is not the cause of our discomfort or lack of clarity or anything else that we've been going through. The stream is actually an incredible gift. The resistance, that's the issue. Now, when we think about this stream, you essentially have three choices available to you. So given this higher stream of energies, three basic choices. First, you can swim upstream, or at least attempt to. You can hold on to the bank or a rock in the stream or a fallen tree or something so you don't get swept up in it, or you can let the stream carry you. So let's talk briefly about these three options. Option one, swimming upstream. Just the thought of it feels exhausting, doesn't it? I mean, at this point, the way we're all feeling, the thought of trying to swim upstream doesn't feel good, definitely not appealing. And this, how do we translate this? Well, it's forcing outcomes, right? We're trying to force something to happen, or we're attempting to control timelines, or worrying. Worrying is one of the most effective ways of attempting to swim upstream against the current, is that, we don't trust in what's going on, and so we worry. Another way that we try swimming upstream is we go digging for answers, right? So many of us have been raised or trained to be problem solvers, and so we dig for answers. We try to solve problems, and that efforting, all that effort, is essentially trying to swim upstream. The second option, holding onto the bank, is a little more comfortable, a little safer. And the way we do that is we hang on to an old identity. We stay in that old version of ourselves, or an old belief about our situation. We repeat old stories, probably stories that no longer serve us, right, in our evolution or growth, but we keep repeating the old stories just because they're familiar. And that's one way that we kind of hold on to the bank. Or we hang on to habits that no longer match our rising frequency, because whether we are trying to or not, our vibration is rising. I mean, generally, individually and collectively, our vibration is going up. So the third option is just letting go and letting the stream carry you. And the key word here is trust. It's also about alignment. It's not just trusting the process of life, trusting the universe, trusting your higher self, trusting that everything is working out for you. It's also about aligning your thoughts and actions, and doing this consciously, but aligning your thoughts and actions with the higher stream, with the energies of this higher will. Letting the stream carry you also involves listening to the gentle voice of your heart. And instead of trying to figure it out or think your way into it, you feel your way forward. This is one way you kind of let go and let the current carry you, is you feel your way forward. You listen to your heart, and you become more and more aware of these subtle shifts that are happening within you and around you. Because as we get into higher frequencies, the vibrations become finer and more subtle. And so we need to allow ourselves to be perceivers of those higher, more subtle energies. So those are your three options. And the stream is there, available to us. And this is what has been affecting us since the end of last year, but more pronounced in this new year. So just take a moment. I just invite you to take a moment right now and just ask yourself, where in your life right now are you holding on to old thoughts, old beliefs, or old identities? If you want to put a hand on your heart, take a deep breath and just ask your heart, where in my life am I still holding on to something old? Where am I holding on to the bank? Just trust the first thing that comes to you. Might not be a profound answer, but when you ask and allow yourself to be quiet, an answer often comes, something helpful. Great, thank you for that. I trust your heart gave you a little something, even if it was just one word, to help you feel into this. Now, with the presence of these new higher energies, it has become clear that what is no longer in alignment feels dense or heavy or strained. And I think this is one of the reasons so many of us have been feeling that lethargic, unfocused feeling. So why now? What brought this higher stream to us? Well, there are two factors that my guides pointed out are at play here. First, human consciousness has evolved to a certain point where we now have access. I know if you look at the news or you focus on what's going on around the world, it might not seem that way. But from the bigger picture, human consciousness is evolving, and it's evolving faster than most of us realize. But we have reached a point where we now have access to new higher streams, higher frequencies of thinking and being and creating new realities. And secondly, it's about the cycle that we're in. My guides, the Guardians, were very clear, even when they introduced this to me last October. They said that 2026 was going to be the year of the one. And from a numerological point of view, Lemurian numerology, 2026 is a 1 year. If you add the digits up, it reduces to a 1. And so this is a 1 year. It's the beginning of a new 9-year cycle. Last year, we wrapped up an entire 9-year cycle. And this is one reason why 2025 was so challenging for so many, because it was the ending of a 9-year cycle, and all sorts of stuff that we hadn't addressed or had resolved or moved on from came up to the surface. You know, that merry-go-round came around one more time and said, hey, here's this relationship you haven't resolved yet, or here's this belief about yourself that you haven't quite addressed or resolved. We're in this transition phase. We're still in this transition phase, even though we're getting into, you know, the meat of 2026. We're still in that transition from old to new. And because this is a 1 year, the beginning of a new 9-year cycle, the choices we make now are echoing forward. What you choose to do this year, how you choose to be in this year will have an outsized effect over the next 8 or 9 years. And this is one reason my guides have been so insistent with me at least. They've been insistent that I take this seriously, that, you know, can't just cruise through this year. I've got to become more conscious and aware. And that's the invitation for all of us, is to become more aware of what's available to us and what old energy, old patterns we don't need to carry forward into this new 9-year cycle. And there's a second double meaning to my guides calling this the year of the one. And that is, you are the one. So this is a 1 year in the cycle, but also this 1 year is an opportunity to focus and to return you to focus on yourself. And I am happy to be the one that reminds you right here and now that you are the most important person in your life. So many of us have been raised or gone through life with the belief that we have to put others first, that we never should put ourselves first. It's always about serving someone else, supporting someone else, fulfilling what somebody else is asking of us. But making yourself number one, making yourself your number one priority is not selfish. Okay. It is selfish, but not in the negative way that society tends to imply it. Being selfish, putting yourself first, is so important, because if you don't make your own life work, if you're not in alignment, if you're not on the path to becoming the best version of yourself you can be, you essentially don't have much to offer anyone else as a friend, as a healer, as an employee, whatever it is. So this year, 2026, is inviting us to focus on ourselves, to truly focus on making ourselves the priority, because in these new energies and these new faster moving energies, this is essential. I know many of you recently participated in my Best Year Ever mini course. But for those of you that didn't, I just want to share 2 of the keywords that we focused on for 2026. And again, these were keywords that were offered to me by my guides. And those keywords are truth and clarity. And those are keywords you can keep in mind for this year to help you focus on yourself and make yourself a priority. Truth answers the question, what do I really want? And clarity answers an equally important but different question. It asks, why do I want it? So these 2 questions, what do I want and why do I want it? These are key to focusing on yourself this year. So you're being called in this year, the year of the one, you're being called to listen to your heart and answer those 2 questions, to feel and acknowledge and to know what is actually true for you and why. Doesn't mean why from you have to explain it or defend it to someone else. Why in this case is understanding, why do I want this? What's the essence of this thing that I am drawn to, that I feel that will make me feel fulfilled, joyful, happy, successful, whatever it is. So this is a why that you answer only for you, not to explain or justify your choice for anyone else. And I know that listening to your heart can feel risky. I get it. I resist it sometimes myself because we're afraid of disappointing others, or maybe being too selfish, or making the quote unquote wrong choice if we listen to our heart. And sometimes we avoid our truth, to admit what's really true for us because we're protecting relationships, or we want to maintain the status quo, or hang on to versions of ourselves that once made sense, but deep down inside we know we're ready to outgrow this old version of us. Well, in this higher stream, in these new faster moving energies, in the year of the one, I am urging you, and my guides are urging you, to make yourself the priority. Remember, you are the one. So what can we do to actually align ourselves with the new energies and move with this higher stream? Over several days recently, my guides gave me 5 key bits of guidance that helped me snap out of a physical, mental, and emotional funk that I had gotten myself into. And these are practical, simple and practical tips to help you align with the new, faster current. And my guides urged me to share these with you. So that's primarily why I wanted to get together with you like this, to kind of give you the context of what's going on, but then share these 5 bits of guidance, these important reminders that my guides gave me. The first is reach beyond the veil. And what this means is letting go of kind of your third dimensional limitations. My guides often remind me, I hear this voice sometimes, it's like, stop being so third dimensional. And they mean it lovingly, but it's just a reminder that there is so much more beyond the 5 physical senses. In fact, in the non-physical realms, where your higher self, your spirit guides and goddesses exist, ascended masters, whoever, in that beyond the veil of our human consciousness are these infinite realms of non-physical wisdom and intelligence and guidance. And in fact, that's where most of the action is, because anything that manifests in the third dimension begins in the non-physical. And, face it, here in these human experiences, that veil that's over our consciousness gives us the illusion that we're not infinitely wise, that we are separated from each other, that, we're not connected to all that is. But it's just an illusion. To move with these new higher frequencies, this new current, this new stream, it's best if we consciously work with the non-physical, to work with our higher selves, to work with our guides, and do it consciously, because they can make our lives so much easier. They understand the higher stream, the higher will. They know where we're headed. They know what you want, and they know how to get you there. So in general, we have to remember to stop being so third dimensional and focus more and value our intuition and the guidance that's available to us rather than problem solving. Number 2, and this is a big one, change the story. Whatever stories we've been telling in the past, most of them do not serve us in general, and they definitely don't serve us in this new stream of energy. The guidance here is to stop telling stories about your hardship or your pain or who you used to be. It's important now in these new energies to start telling stories of who you are becoming. And when I use the word stories, it's not just the stories that we share with other people. This is mainly about the stories that we tell ourselves. So many of us keep ourselves stuck by just repeating old stories. And in this new energy in 2026, it really will benefit us to take a step back and instead of automatically telling a story about what happened in the past or how things didn't work out or the trouble we went through, that we let all that go and focus on thinking, who do I want to become? Who am I becoming? Where can I focus my imagination and tell that story of the confident, abundant, in-service person that I want to be? And it's not just the big stories. There are little things that I call micro stories that we tell ourselves that limit us. And here's some examples. For example, so many of us have this story, call it a belief. For example, making money is hard. Attracting abundance is hard. That's not a story that serves us. It doesn't serve you to continue thinking that way. So these are beliefs. You can call them beliefs and patterns. I call them micro stories because we tell ourselves these things all the time. You look at something and you step back and think, oh, that's going to take a long time. That's going to take a lot of effort. Well, if you want it to be so, the universe will happily help you fulfill that story. But you have an opportunity here to try a new story, to stop telling that one to yourself or someone else. So in these new energies, I invite you to become a lot more aware of these automatic things that you tell yourself, but also share with others that really don't serve you. So here's a way of remembering this. New frequencies require new stories. Here's the next tip my guides reminded me of, and I know this, but I needed the reminder to live in appreciation. Generating genuine feelings of appreciation is one of the easiest ways there is to raise your vibration and keep it there. And generating these feelings of appreciation, it can be small things or big things. It doesn't matter as long as you are focused on something and allowing yourself to feel genuine appreciation. This is a habit I often fall into, is that whatever's going on or a certain situation, I will focus on the 5% that's not working or not exactly the way I want it to be, rather than looking at the 95% of what's working and what's going well and appreciating that and living in that appreciation. Daily practice of appreciation can really help you anchor into this higher stream. This is something that, if it's not a habit, I invite you to start making this a habit. Even a simple thing of, and I'll do this sometimes, I'll do it once or twice a day, is I'll just quickly write down a list of anything I can think of that I'm appreciating in that moment. And it always raises my vibration. Fourth tip I got from my guides, and as a reminder, is use the power of your imagination. Daydream. Daydream about what you want. Daydream about how you want things to be. And use your imagination in a practical sense. Whenever there's a situation coming up or a project or anything, you can imagine that in advance and imagine a scene or a situation the way you want it to be. Before you even enter into that, before you even move into that situation or that space, use the power of your imagination to envision what it is you want. This practice, this kind of activity, doesn't take much time or effort, but it will definitely help you align with that higher stream of energy. Let yourself feel ahead into the situation and feel into that that current of what you want to experience before you get there. So let's say you're getting together a family gathering, or you have a meeting coming up, or you're about to start a project, or even envisioning a new version of yourself. Just take a little time to envision what it is you want. This kind of habit can really help you align with the new higher frequencies of energy. The fifth, and maybe the most important of all of these tips, is to be kinder to yourself. The message here, stop being so hard on yourself. Treat yourself better, especially mentally. Make a commitment to treat yourself just a little bit better. Self-criticism is one of the most common ways that we hold on to old patterns, old identities, rather than letting go and allowing the stream to carry us. It locks you into an old identity, it lowers your vibration, and it cuts you off from receiving those answers, solutions, and guidance that are waiting for you. You might want to write this down just as a reminder that self-criticism is keeping you stuck, and as soon as you can, stop doing it. So here are the 5 ways, practical ways. Here are 5 ways that you can move with the stream. You can move with the new higher vibrating energies that are flowing through the earth plane and are available to us. Reach beyond the veil, change the story, practice living in appreciation, use your imagination. It's this superpower that you have, and you can use it to not only make your day better, but to start changing your reality for the rest of this year and starting some momentum that's going to carry you through the next 8 or 9 years. Okay. I'd like to just take a couple of minutes now to do a simple guided experience with you. And before I do, I just want to check in. Has this resonated with you? This idea of these new higher streams of energy, or these 5 practical ways that you can work with yourself so that you let go of resistance. Great reminders. Yep. And yep, scary to let go of the bank though. Yeah, I totally resonate with that. I know what that feels like. Hey, let me just go back here for a second before I do the guided experience. You can just quickly in the chat, which one of these things are you willing to start trying today? Which of these 5 simple tips do you think you can, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, change the story? Yeah. Changing the story is a huge one for me these days. 3 and 5, appreciation, be kinder to yourself. Bill, good for you. Be kinder to myself. Reach beyond the veil. Change my stories. Great. Yeah. And I know these are things, and my guides know this. When they remind me of these things, they lovingly know that I know this. In fact, I work with my clients every week on these, with these same kind of topics, but we all need reminders. And so in these, in this new energy of 2026, my guides were just saying, okay, we just have to help you remember, get back to the basics. Here's some practical things you can start doing to make yourself feel better and actually get more in alignment. Wow. Thank you everyone for sharing which one you're willing to start trying even today. I know these are simple and straightforward. So it's easy to get into doing something different even today. Okay, get yourself into a comfortable position, because as I said, I want to do just a short guided experience so that we can feel into these new energies. All right. And invite you to close your eyes. And we'll start by bringing your awareness to the area of your heart. And imagine that you're breathing in and out of your heart a little slower and deeper than usual. Just allowing yourself to relax. Allowing yourself to feel more present and centered here in this moment. Just allow your breathing to become a little slower and deeper than usual. Now imagine yourself standing in front of a wide and luminous, clear stream of translucent colors. This wide stream of light, strands of color flowing steadily in front of you. It's just flowing effortlessly. It's just cruising by, not too fast, but a nice steady flow. And this stream of energy is safe. In fact, it feels a little inviting to you. So imagine yourself stepping gently forward and entering into the stream of this very fine, high frequency energy. It's perfectly safe to step into the stream. These energies are so very light and fine. Some of the little streams are flowing through you, and others are flowing effortlessly, easily around you and continuing on. Notice how you feel standing in this stream of light. Soft, translucent colors. And you may notice that as this energy flows through you, your body is picking up and collecting some of this light. In fact, your body is gently filling with this new high frequency energy, these new streams of light. This stream of energy, this current of high vibrations feels intelligent and steady. And looking at the individual strands of color flowing through you or around you, you remember that these individual streams each have a particular frequency, a tone. There's one for clarity, one for love. There's a stream of trust, a stream of truth, a stream of abundance. I invite you to just take a moment and, if you like, focus, choose one of these individual streams and tune into it just for a moment. Focus on that individual stream of light, how it feels. And it might actually have a brief message for you if you open your heart and allow it to come. And in this stream of light, you feel yourself being buoyed up. You're feeling lighter and lighter. And gently and gradually, you feel this current of energy all around you and through you beginning to lift you up off your feet and gently carrying you along the stream. You are allowing the stream to carry you. It required no effort at all, no struggle, simply allowing yourself to connect with the energy, with this current of love and light, and let it carry you. And now imagine this stream of light gently carrying you back to the time and place where you began this journey. Allow yourself to feel more settled again in your physical presence, wherever you're seated or lying down. And you can take a deep breath and open your eyes. Thanks for joining me in that, everyone. Before we move on, I would love to just get a word how that felt to you in the chat, just a word of how you felt. And I have to say, this group energy, I know we had an individual experience, but this gathering, this group energy, cannot underestimate the energy of the group and how it makes this kind of experience easy for all of this. Relaxed, freeing. Love the image of pastel colors. Fantastic, powerful, tender. Nice word, Marianne. I like the word tender. Translucent, peaceful, inspired, lighter, nurturing. Nurturing is a good word. When we let ourselves be carried, we are truly allowing ourselves to be nurtured in multiple ways. Joan says, feeling safe and calm, flowing. Excellent. Well, clearly, there's no reason. You don't have to force the current. It exists. It's there. It already knows where it's going. And from the bigger picture, it knows where you're going. The stream is already carrying you into who you are becoming. You just have to let go of a little resistance that's holding you back. I mean, the stream is carrying us. Otherwise, if it wasn't, those of us who have felt kind of that disconnect or that gap, we wouldn't have felt anything. But the fact that the current is already carrying us is good news. We just have to be aware of, okay, the current's taking me, current knows where I want to go. I just need to let it. I just need to let this current carry me. So I'm going to do my best to let go of all of that resistance that I've been collecting. So let me just share a quick example of how all of this has affected me recently. As I mentioned in a recent email, I was feeling great in January. We're in a new year, a new 9-year cycle. I was feeling optimistic and so light and confident because I started diving into some new projects and it really felt great. But by the end of the month, those feelings had really started to fade. I was getting lost in the searching and the problem solving. I was, without realizing it, I was overthinking things. I was trying too hard, and without really realizing it, I was falling back into familiar patterns, old habits, an old version of me. And in these kind of situations, it's incredibly helpful to have someone reflect back to you what's really going on and help you gain clarity. As I'm doing with you here, that's what I experienced because so often we get kind of in the weeds, or we get caught up in our lives, and we really can't see things clearly, what's going on with us, right? So, but thankfully, I've got my spirit guides. They are more than happy to help me get back on track and remind me, and I'm so blessed to have that. But also my wife, I have to give my wife credit, because she will also help me refocus and reconnect and remember what's most important, and to get into that higher current. So the overall message for me in helping me snap out of what I was getting into by the end of January was to stop efforting, stop searching so hard, stop trying to figure it all out, and stop looking for the path. Instead, let the path find you. And I'm hoping from what we've been talking about here today that this can be something that you can make as your mantra. Let the path find me. I can let the path find me. The path is out there. I don't have to go looking for it. The path exists. Again, the stream exists. The path exists. I just have to let the path find me as I let the current carry me forward. The stream is always there, and it was always there for me, ready to carry me, but I just couldn't see in recent weeks. I just couldn't see where I was hanging on to old patterns, old habits, and old ways of thinking. And without realizing it, I had started really slipping into this old version of me. Thankfully, the higher stream was there for me, and I could reconnect with it, but it's also there for you. We all need guidance and reminders. Sometimes I share the idea that, there's 8 billion of us here on the planet. Clearly, we did not come here to do the journey by ourselves, and we have unlimited assistance and support from the non-physical realms. There's just so much more available beyond this third dimension. But we're in these veiled human experiences, and sometimes we forget. We need reminders. And as I said, thankfully, I'm blessed to have my guides and my wife. And in fact, my guides often enlist my wife and her guides to get my attention and to help me get back on track. And over the years, I've been blessed to have some really good mentors in my life that have helped me kind of go beyond my comfort zone to really tap into the fullness of who I am, and to tap into the richness of wisdom and support that's available in the non-physical realms. If what I've been sharing here today resonates with you, I would invite you to explore working with me one-on-one in my Lemurian mentoring program. My primary goal with this program is to help you achieve a meaningful shift in your life in a matter of months and not years. And I just want to be clear, what I do, this Lemurian mentoring, is not coaching. This is deep work that pushes you beyond your comfort zone and helps you unlock the true potential of your life's blueprint. And of course, along the way, lots of loving reminders, helping you get clarity, helping you become more of who you truly are. My spirit guides and I become your mentoring team, and together we'll create a customized one-on-one program to help you achieve what's most important to you, both personally and professionally. And if this speaks to you, if it speaks to your heart, let's have a chat about it. You can book a 30-minute clarity session with me to see if Lemurian mentoring is a good fit for you. You can go to davidbauer.com/mentoring to read about the program and the possibilities, find out what some of my clients have had to say, and to book your clarity session. And that brings me back to our big theme for today, and that is relaxing into the new energies and allowing the stream to carry you. Rather than holding on to things or pushing against things, swimming upstream, allow clarity to come to you. Allow answers and solutions to come to you, because they will. They're out there. They're ready to come to you. but you have to let them in. You have to allow them. In essence, you allow the path to find you. Now, we do have a few more minutes here. I want to thank you for joining me here. I am happy to answer any questions you might have. Just put them in the chat about, what we've discussed here today, just for a few minutes. I know when you take a step back and say, okay, this is pretty simple and straightforward. Yes, in your heart of hearts, you know all this stuff. I'm just helping you remember what you already know. I'm just helping bring a little bit more clarity and focus to who you are, why you're here, and what potential you have, especially given this new 9-year cycle and these new higher streams of energy that are available to us. Malia, let's see. How do we change the story when the current is taking us from something that made sense to something that is completely foreign? Okay, let me try that again. How do we change the story when the current is taking us from something that made sense in the past, let's say, into something that is completely foreign? Great question. I get it. Great question. The story is, I'm good with change. I am constantly evolving. I am never the same person 2 moments in a row. I'm a different person today than I was yesterday, last week, last year. I am constantly becoming something new. I am comfortable with change. In fact, I invite change. I always figure things out. I always get the answers when I need them. Things are always working out for me. This is just an example of telling a new story when you don't know what's coming. Tell the story of someone who is okay with change, who is comfortable becoming more of who you truly are, and someone who trusts the process of life, trusts that everything is going to work out. Thank you, Malia. That was a great question. It gave me an opportunity. Cheryl. Unfortunately, in this context, Cheryl, I can't answer personal questions about individual situations. If it's something about the content we discussed today, I'm happy to ask that for the benefit of the group. But unfortunately, I can't answer specific personal questions in this context today. I trust you understand. Does your Lemurian mentoring program also give access to a community of supportive people who are doing similar work? I am so glad you asked that, because that is something that came up with several clients at the end of last year. And that is something that I want to make happen this year, because in my one-on-one work with clients, a lot of it is deeply, a lot of it is deeply personal to that person's spiritual growth, their awakening, resolving issues, letting go of old stories, and even developing, a business, maybe as a spiritual practitioner. So it's all very personal, but there is a growing need, and obviously expressed to me a desire for being able to get together as a group. So I'm so glad you brought that up, Enoch, because it's another reminder, yes, this is something that needs to happen this year. So I am committed to finding a way of creating some kind of space for my clients and students of my online courses like Lemurian channeling or Lemurian healing, to create a space where we can support each other. So thank you for doing that. Doesn't exist right now, but I am committed to making something happen in the near future. Angela, any advice on how to calm the constant chat in the mind? Yeah, the simplest way that I learned, and my mentors taught me years ago, is just a simple practice of meditation. And it is simple. I know meditation is, the M word, right? But my mentors were very, very clear that if you want to change your life, daily practice of short, simple meditation, I'm talking like 15 minutes, just to practice sitting still and quieting your thoughts, it will have a huge impact on your life. It will help reduce that chatter. And this is something I work with my clients all the time. Every week, this is coming up because it's an important practice. And in fact, one of those ways that you can help raise your vibration so that you can align with the higher stream, not only your higher self, but the higher stream of what's available to us. But just that heart-focused breathing that we did at the beginning of the exercise, you can just focus on that kind of breathing do your best for 10 or 15 minutes. And a daily practice of that, I guarantee you, will start shifting things. Teresa, how do we get guidance from our guides? Well, there are whole courses taught on that subject. In fact, I teach a course on that. But in general, Teresa, if you haven't been doing that, it all starts with setting your intention. If you want to get guidance from your guides, the first and foremost step is to set your intention. It's like, higher self guides, I am ready to start working with you. Show me the way. And this is a great way of letting the path find you. Because once you set your intention and you don't put up resistance like, this is going to be hard, I don't know where to go, can I really do this? Those kind of thoughts all get in the way. But if you say, I want to learn how to receive guidance. In fact, I want to learn how to channel my higher self. I want to learn how to channel guidance from my guides. Just setting your intention will start you down that path. That is a great way of letting the path find you. It's just, I'd like to do this. I want to pursue it. This is something that, again, I work with my clients every week on, because everyone has different guides, different priorities. And so I'm always, I don't do coaching. I'm encouraging and mentoring my clients on how best to connect with their guides. And we're all different. We all have different vibrations, different energies, different backgrounds and experiences. And so each of us has a unique path of how do we best connect with guidance. But thank you for asking that, Teresa. It starts with setting your intention, and then everything starts to unfold from there. Judith, if someone finds it difficult to open up, how can mentorship work? Well, hopefully you can tell from my energy here in this gathering that there's always a way. We're all individually different, but there are commonalities of who we are. We all have higher selves. We all have access to guides and angels and goddesses and things. So and everyone has their own resistance. And so that's one thing I work with clients regularly, is to helping reduce whatever resistance there is in your specific situation. But not everybody comes to me completely open. I mean, it's just not the reality. We're all at different points, and I will help you, and I can help you find a way to open up. I think we got to all the questions. These were great questions. Thank you so much, everyone. And for those of you that have stayed through this, again, I thank you so much for spending this time with me and giving me this opportunity to share what I've been experiencing, but also the guidance I've been receiving. My guides are always saying, okay, this is for you, but you should think about sharing this. So I'm happy that all of you were able to join me here. Again, if you want to explore working with me in my Lemurian mentoring program, please go to davidbauer.com/mentoring to check out a little bit more detail about what's involved, but also to schedule a clarity session with me so that we can have a good chat to see what's going on in your life right now, what's most important to you, and to see if mentoring makes sense. From my heart, everyone around the world who's been here, and those of you who are going to be watching this on the recording, thank you so much for weaving your love and light into this group energy. As I mentioned a little while ago, the group energy really facilitates coming together like this and allowing us to take advantage of the higher energy. So from my heart, everyone, thank you so much. And until I have a chance to see you again, I send you my love and light from Lemuria. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for all your comments and being here. I look forward to seeing you again soon.